You?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Okay.
Am I the only one on yet?
So far, yeah, we're early. We're about 5 minutes ahead of schedule.
Are we?
Yeah, you have any questions while we're waiting?
No, I don't.
You're good? Okay, good. Are you enjoying the book? Have you read it before? Is this your first
I
time?
have read it, yes, and it's always my go-to.
Oh, good. See?
I always go back to it because it has all the steps.
It does.
It's just a good,
It's simple.
basic book. Yes.
Exactly. Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. I do too.
Yeah,
They were doing
it's a good
skill 3. So Marianne won't be with us for the next couple of weeks. She is doing some homework. She's got actually participating in another startup of something. So I can't wait to hear what that's all about. She said it was
Oh, wow.
I can't remember who the gentleman's name, but there's a book that he has written, and I guess they're starting some kind of a training program, and they're just kind of doing the initial stuff. And so this was the only time I guess he was available to do it. So we shall see.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she's got a lot of requirements. It's a lot like 65 and a Wake Up in that there's homework and responsibility to connect with people and to log that information. So it seems like it's pretty intense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was excited for Kelsey Britton.
I know, me too. Now, how well do you know her?
She's my upline.
Oh, so did she
Yeah,
personally enroll you, or are you?
Yes, actually, they are from my hometown. Like, I knew them long before I got into longevity. I knew them when they were Stay Natural. Actually, when he started his company, it was called Nature's Treat.
Oh.
And then they changed it to Stay Natural.
Now, see, I never heard that about the Nature's Treat. That's news to me, but I love a whole bunch of the Stay Natural product line. I mean, I really enjoy it.
Yes.
So you came in with Stay Natural? You started with that?
No, I didn't. I took the products, but I never sold it.
Okay.
So I came in about a year after Stan and Laura actually merged with Longevity.
Okay.
And I went to school with Laura. She graduated 2 years after I did and dated my brother in high school.
Oh, funny. Isn't that cool? Small world.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, I came in with the Beyond Organic family, and I was part of that leadership before we came in together with Mike Battistelli, of course. And so
wow.
Just love them.
Another guy that I met, he's from Woodward, and he came in with Beyond Organic. I wish I could think of his name. He's a minister, and he's from my hometown. Or he lives in my hometown.
Ron Anderson?
It might be. Is he
Pam and Ron,
a pastor?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Lutheran pastor, maybe?
That I don't know. I know, is he a part of Lorette Willis's group?
No, he lives in, he might be, that could be right, but he lives in Woodward.
Okay, yeah.
That could.
Because that is her pastor. That's Lorette's pastor. I believe Ron and Pam Anderson.
Okay, no, different people. Okay. Because he lives in Woodward and Lorette lives in Tulsa.
Okay.
He's a pastor. I'll have to do a little bit more research on this.
Yeah, I want to know who that is. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a great family to start with, and then Longevity just made it all come together so beautifully. So we're really happy.
Yeah, made it a lot better, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a fun company.
It is. So you've been here for how long?
2 years in January.
Okay.
But I just kind of came in and kind of coasted along, and I didn't do a whole lot. Did some training and have just kind of coasted, and now I'm really starting to get involved. We have 2 clothing stores and a dry cleaners in the town that I live in, and so it's super crazy busy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And so do you still run those businesses, or have you?
No, we still do.
You still
Yes.
do. Okay.
And so I just recently decided that I wanted to go into the jewelry because my degree is merchandising. And so that just kind
Ah,
of is easy for me. And I
mhm.
dress mannequins all day and accessorize them.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of easy for me.
Oh, that would be perfect. I mean, you could have so
Yeah,
much
it's
fun
fun.
with the Mia Alicia stuff, and really
Yeah,
easy. Yeah.
yeah,
I
super
love it.
fun.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you take advantage of the social selling option? Do you do that?
I have just recently started doing that. Yes. Like I open a party every month and then close at
Hmm.
the end of the month.
Perfect.
If I'm doing Facebook, then I do that separate,
Hmm.
if I'm doing a party for somebody.
Hmm.
But like if I have a page on Facebook,
Hmm.
so if I'm promoting whatever it is, I do a social selling party for that every month and then close it out every month and start over. So that way that you can accumulate all the points and
Exactly.
all the free
Perfect.
merchandise.
Good. And it's nice because it keeps customers instead of trying to make them be distributors. It makes it simple and
Right.
easy, and you can give them the great deal of the 75, with 50% off an item. And so that makes it nice.
Right. And that's kind of fun instead of just selling them through your website where they don't get that, they don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Everybody gets excited to know that they could get some sort of a deal. Anytime you can give them something special, they feel like they're getting so much more.
Right. And now this month, I think till November,
Hmm.
like if you purchase $100 worth of Me Alicia,
Hmm.
then you get $70 in free product. It's
Exactly.
just kind of
Hmm.
random.
Yeah.
Gosh, who wouldn't love that? I mean, right now you could just break all that up and give that as gifts if you wanted to, or you could keep it for yourself.
True. And just even having the hostess gift every month as well is a really great, special treat. You say,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, like I've got, I just received the shawl the gold necklace shawl with the little matching
Yeah. Oh,
earrings.
I know. I love that.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. My roommate at convention had it, and she was a big jewelry person from times gone by, and so she was really terrific, and she had all these great pieces and pulled them out and showed me, and she's like, oh, I love this, and she's like, you knot it like this, or you wear it over your shoulder, or you wear it this way, and it was just really cute. This is really neat.
Yes.
So,
Really, really cute.
welcome, Shirley. We're just chatting here a little bit as we wait for everybody to get started.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great. Just leaving our team meeting,
You're just what?
leaving our presentation meeting
Terrific. And where is that?
in Baltimore.
In Baltimore. Well, drive carefully.
Yeah, I sure will.
We've been dealing with a nor'easter down here, like a mini nor'easter, weird thing with wind, but not a whole lot of rain and sporadic rain. How's the weather for you up there?
It's good. It was beautiful today. What
Good.
state you're in?
Florida.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Well, just be careful. All right. Well, why don't we I'll give a couple more minutes. Let's give a couple more minutes for some more people to come on, because usually we have a few more. Let's see. Are both of you in 65 and a wake up?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what day are you on?
Actually, I'm starting over back to day one.
You're
I kind
starting
of
over?
got my feet wet, and then I just kind of sat back, and so now I'm like going to get my feet wet again and do it
How far did you
through the
get?
whole 66 days. I got to 5 days, I think.
Okay. Okay. So that's not so
I didn't get
so
very
far of a
far.
miss. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But that's good, because what happens is you get that beginning started up, and then when you come back the next time, you kind of go, gee, you know what? I've got this. I know how I can do this better. So you'll find that it'll be a lot easier to go through once you get back in the groove of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, good, very good. And Shirley, how about you?
Yes, I'm on day, I think today is day 51 or 52.
Yay! Are you going to be in GoPro
Oh,
with
wow.
us?
Congratulations.
Say it again.
Are you coming to GoPro with us?
I don't, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, it's November. It's coming quick. It's November 16th to 18th. So, yeah, it's quick,
Oh,
but
because um, yeah. I have a presentation on the 18th at one of the colleges.
oh, great. What will you be presenting on? What part?
Was it this how to take charge of your career and your health?
Nice. And is this your first time doing this kind of a presentation, or do you do this often?
I I do outstanding presentation, but developing a new one just for this particular topic. Corresponding between the career and health, what they have in common.
Very cool. Good. I see Julia has joined us. Hi,
Woohoo!
sweetheart. And you're back on day one as well?
Day two.
Day two. We were just talking, Melissa's starting over again. Shirley is almost done. She's at what, day 51?
Oh, wow.
So we've got some variance in all of that, but it becomes easier the more you do it. And by the way, when you can have those down day times, they sometimes happen, and sometimes we need a little break. And there was a time where I actually kind of dislocated my hip, and it was really difficult. And I just, I really kind of worked through the pain, but it was really tough. So you do what you can, and we have to be forgiving with yourself, but also know that there is a time and a place where you need to go back and start over, and you're actually going to be fresher and better and more prepared to get through it when you do. And so that's the encouraging part of it, Good. All right, ladies. Well, let's get started. We've already got our recording going, so we are good. And then as people will join in, we can. All right. So, this week we are covering chapter 6, which is skill 3, presenting your product or opportunity to your prospects. And so our first 2 skills that we handled in the last 2 weeks were identifying prospects and inviting them to learn more about your product and opportunity. And so if there's great things to know, if they are reviewing a tool by themselves and you're not around, there's nothing for you to do. Hey, Lorene, welcome. But the one thing you do need to do is you need to follow up when you said you would, because they're watching you. They want to know, can they count on you? Can they depend on you to do what you say you're going to do? So if you're physically with them, there are some things you need to understand. And one of the biggest things you need to know is you are not the issue. Remember, we're the messenger, not the message. And he'll talk about that a little bit later. He goes on to say, this is Eric Worre, of course, I thought the most important thing I could do was become an expert on all the facts associated with my company. So if anyone asked me any questions, I'd be right there with the answers, right? And you think, and many people think, that that's where they need to be. So people have that ideology of, if I only can do this, if I only knew this, everything would be okay. And he would sit down with someone and say, let me tell you all about our products. Let me tell you about our company. Let me tell you about our comp plan. Let me tell you about our incredible system that we have for our support. And there are big problems with that approach if you want to build a large and successful organization. The first of which is, no matter how much you learn, there are still going to be questions that will stump you. And this is a toughie, okay, for someone like me, who is a healthcare professional, who has been a product expert, who's, this has been who I am. It's tough to replicate yourself when you have those kinds of, designations and understanding and so forth. It's sometimes better to know less. And so I want you all to come away with that point of keep it simple, right? So since he was presenting himself as the expert, he got stumped, and that could make the prospect question everything about the opportunity. The second problem is when it comes to them and presenting himself as an authority figure, they knew it wasn't true, and it made them more skeptical because these people that he was talking to knew who he was, and they were kind of like, yeah, I'm thinking maybe no. I don't think you're really what you say you are. The third problem is even if I were successful at becoming an expert, the other distributors in my organization didn't necessarily have that same desire or willingness to learn. As a result, Eric Worre became the go-to guy for every single presentation, and that's not a way to duplicate. Without duplication, network marketing is just a job. That hit me square between the eyes when I reread this again this time. And I thought, it's just a job. And I thought, boy, that job is a dirty word, right? It's a dirty 3-letter word. To think about if we are presenting this improperly, then we are doing the industry, our product, and our company a tremendous disservice. So he says in the early days, that's what network marketing was for me, a job. I had no duplication because I made myself the issue. And what he learned and what he saw was that the pros didn't make themselves the issue. And as a matter of fact, if you listen to most of the top leaders in longevity and in many leaders that are in the industry, they kind of were self-deprecating, right? They make jokes about themselves. Like Tom always makes comments about his hair being silly and wearing a shirt and that the police will confuse him for being a homeless person. Dr. Corey will talk about the fact that the only knowledge he has is the size of his fist, which is the inside of the mouth. And as far as the rest of the body is concerned, he really doesn't know anything. Chili is laughing. But, it's so true. When you put yourself in a position of authority or being an expert in any way, shape, or form, you're setting yourself and your team up for failure because they can't live up to that. If they don't have the same educational background, if they don't have the same speaking ability, you gotta let the tools do the work for you, right? So what he found is that pros acted as consultants who connect the prospects to tools, events, or other distributors, i.e. the 3-way, to help them become educated. If the prospect asked a question, they would guide them to the answer, but they wouldn't give the answer directly. And one of the upline gals on my team, Deb Bruction, who I just adore, she would do this all the time. When we would ask a question, she would respond and say, have you been to? And then she'll say the Longevity Resource Center, or have you been to this? And so that way it would put you in the habit of looking toward the tool rather than looking to a person to get the information, because we need to be able to duplicate this. And so when someone that we are training sees what we do, they can say, oh, this is really simple. All I have to do is show them the Longevity Resource Center, and that's where all that information is, right? So that makes it much easier to train your people. The pros knew that they could sign the person up by dazzling them with their knowledge and experience, but they also knew it would take a long time for their new distributors to do the same. And that's what had baffled him until he realized the concept and comprehension of duplication. So in network marketing, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. Hello, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. We are in skill number 3, just so you know, as you're following up. The pros use tools instead of their own wisdom. The pros use live events instead of their own presentations, and they use other distributors to give the facts instead of giving them themselves. The pros don't present themselves as experts. They just invite people to learn more about the product or opportunity and let the third-party resource provide the information. The pros bring passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief. Make that passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief your priority. Then invite professionally and let the third-party resource do the rest. One of the things that I was taught by my upline, Mike Battistelli and Jenny Smith, was that when you bring someone in and you edify your third-party expert, you do the introduction. Of course, you've sent the coffee shop interview to them in advance so they can have that information. And then you can sit back, do a little brief introduction, sit back and button your lip. And when the whole conversation is over, which should be relatively brief, then when you're on the call with your prospect and your third-party expert has left, you can ask them, so what did I do? Did you happen to notice what did I do during this call? And they'll say, well, you just introduced me and then you stopped talking. And I would say, yes. Do you think you could do that? Boom. Simple, easy. And they go, oh my gosh, that's all I need to do is I need to get you or another person on the phone as a third party, talk you up, edify with what your qualifications are, what your background is, all those things. As Tom would say, tell them I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Because they don't know who you are. They don't know if you're an upline. They don't know if you're part of a downline. They don't know if you're crossline. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're bringing in somebody else that has the information that they need to make an educated decision. And they are more likely to accept that from this other person who's now been sung praises about how amazingly wonderful they are. And then you come back with them and you can have that conversation with them about taking them to that next level, which of course we'll go forward on through in the book. But it's an interesting fact. Hang on for just one second. There we go. Okay, so it's also important to learn how to present your opportunity to groups of people. Who here has ever made a group presentation before? Okay. Nancy and Julia. Julia came up first, and Debbie. Okay, great. Julia, can you share a little bit about your experience with working in front of a group? Tell us a little bit about what you do and what you do, what you don't do, what you love, what you hate.
Oh, I hate being put on the spot.
So sorry.
No. Oh, good. No, I mean, like
Helping
when you do it in
grow.
front of a group.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Group. I love that there is a certain dynamic. Mm-hmm. Like then, because they start then sharing the knowledge with each other, which makes it more powerful what you present to them. Mm-hmm. Just with the spices, for example, people like start selling them to each other because they start talking about recipes, and you can just sort of sit back, and they don't just stare at you. And talking about yourself, I always try to keep that super short and make it about the company or the product, or even less about the company, just let the product speak for itself. And
perfect. Good.
Yeah.
That's all terrific. And absolutely true. There is something alive about that group dynamic. So when you say you allow them, they just kind of come into their own, in that all of a sudden things start getting shared between them. And you can kind of, depending on the size of the group, you can kind of, pull in and say, oh, here, so-and-so just made a comment about this, and bring it in, and then the room becomes vibrant. They get excited. And they're like, oh, I never thought of that. I didn't think about putting my spice in that or using it in that particular way. And that is a lot of fun. The other thing about a group dynamic is the living concept of people agreeing with the person on stage. right? That's really important. So it is important to be at those events for your team and to be an active participant and be seated on the edge of your seat, like looking like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And I've never heard this before. And I want to hear it again. And so when you, did I unmute you? Yeah. When they see your face as you are excited about this, it's just like your kids, right? Our kids look at us and see how we behave, and then they will follow suit and act the same way. You may tell them things all the time, but it's your actions that speak louder than words. And so when they see that, like if you're a leader and you're in the back of the room and you're chatting on your cell phone and you're not listening to the person up front because you may have heard them speak 1,000 times before and you think you could say it as well as they can, lose that mentality and be an engaged participant in there. Yes, ma'am.
Just one more add. What I usually do is, and that's not talking on stage, but when I do the socials, I let everybody just tell one quick story, and you can ask questions like with the spices. I do the spices a lot, obviously. I ask what ethnical cuisine they can't live without, like Mediterranean cuisine or Italian, just any cuisine, Middle East, just so that everybody has said something at the beginning, and that warms them all up. So they are not as shy to ask a question after.
I love that. Yeah. You're actually bringing them in. You're making them feel special and important, right? Their opinion matters. Their input matters. And that's very important. Nancy or Debbie, did you want to add something to that? Oh, wait, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Debbie, is that you? Okay, go ahead. Oh, wait.
But for group presentations when I'm prepared. Just to be really, really prepared about what you're talking about so that you can just loosen up, lighten up, and have fun and roll with it. And if a person's not prepared, then, you know, it's really difficult. It can be difficult to present to a group. But if you really understand what you're talking about and able to roll with it and stuff, it helps. And to be able to roll with, you know, whatever the people are, you know, if they're product people or business people or kind of whatever you're speaking about, if you're prepared, it's just easier to present well.
Perfect. And actually, we're going to go into that in just a little bit, but that is exactly true. So thank you, Debbie, for sharing that.
Yes.
And Nancy, how about you?
Am I unmuted? I'm trying to.
Yes, I've unmuted you.
Whenever I've presented for a variety of different things, not just always longevity, but whenever I've been a presenter for whatever, I guess one thing that I've always liked to do is to try to involve all the different age groups that are there. Basically just make that whoever it is to feel like it's as much them as it is me.
Wonderful. I love that.
Even though they're there to learn, I know when I'm sitting in an audience, a lot of times something that the presenter says or my neighbor says or whatever makes me think of something too. And I think it adds value to them by allowing them to not to speak and to share. And like Julie was saying, you know, also, I mean, it breaks the ice. And, you know, so there's all of the ideas are great and necessary.
Wonderful. I love that. And everyone wants to feel special and included. You know, I think that's great. Okay, so, all right, so let's continue on and we'll see what Eric Worre says about it. So he said, the person with the marker makes the money. So in that breath, he's talking about the person in the front of the room, right? In other words, the person in front of the room giving the presentation usually has a higher than average income. So you want to be the person at the front of the room. You want to be the one presenting. So he started by learning how to give a short and effective testimonial. This is really, really important. And he said, people aren't interested in how much you know, but they are interested in your story as long as you don't bore them to death with it, right? You want to have something that is going to grab their attention, but be quick, succinct, and to the point so that you can create a powerful connection with the people that are there. And so what that means is you need to know your audience. You kind of need to get a feel for it. And what's very interesting, if you've ever had an opportunity to witness Doc Wallach presenting live, which I've been very blessed to see on many occasions, what's really cool about Doc is that every time he presents, it's a little bit different because he has had a chance to either review the audience by visually seeing what they're all about, or by talking with them, or by talking with the host and finding out specific details about the people that are there. So when he'll go through the presentation, because he has all those slides and all that information to share, there are sometimes he'll just go blip, blip, blip right over a few of these slides and he'll stop on what would appear to be the perfect one. And so he is adept at doing that. And that's what Debbie was talking about, is being prepared, knowing what to do so that when you get up there, you can just do it. You can start up right wherever you need to. What he says is the theme of his story was, if I could do it, anyone could do it. And it worked. I used it all the time in hotel meetings and home meetings, on three-way phone calls and conference calls, you name it. And he said, what you need to do, no matter what your background is, craft a compelling story. So let me just read to you what his little story was. Hi, my name is Eric Worre, and I'm a retired underachiever. Right off the bat, he's got your attention. It's quick, interesting words that you normally wouldn't hear someone say about themselves, right? Boom. I had 18 jobs by the age of 23 and was starting to think my future wasn't looking so good. So again, self-deprecation, right? I was embarrassed by my lack of results and was desperately looking for a way to make something of my life. In January of '88, I was introduced to network marketing, and it has changed my life. Instead of being afraid of the future, now I'm excited about it. And then, parenthetically, he says, I would insert whatever was appropriate based upon my current level of success. So something new that has happened, something, exciting that shows an example of his growth and success. Okay, so then he comes in to tell us what we need to do for our compelling personal story. You need to include your background, the things you didn't like about your background, how network marketing or your company came to the rescue, and your results on how you feel about your future, right? So you want to take them to where you were to where you are now, and then what your expectations are for the future, right? That's for a success story. Now, there are other testimonies you can have that are product testimonies. Oh, your reception is dropping out. Thank you so much, Julia. You're so sweet. Oh, Daniel, hello, welcome. And so when you create this together, you have to know the audience. You can have several different testimonies that are relative to what your particular audience will be, whether it's one person, 5 people, or a room of 500, right? I've had to do all of those, and it doesn't matter. The size of the room doesn't matter. The content is what is important based upon what is relative to the people or the atmosphere of the room, right? So let me mute you out there, sweetheart. Okay. All right. So then what he did after he came up with his personal testimony, he wanted to master the company's opportunity presentation. And what he knew was that the top earner did the exact same presentation every single time, word for word. And so he copied it. He recorded the presentation, transcribed it by hand, and then he recorded his own voice doing the same presentation. He did it word for word, same stories, same jokes, everything was the same, right? How do you think that worked? No, right? You need to make it your own. When Tom Chenault talks about you can't be a me, you need to be the best you that you can be. So you need to cater to the people in the room, but remain true to yourself. That's a very, very important thing, because otherwise you come off as not being genuine. And that is something that will destroy your business and will chase a prospect away faster than they can get out of the room. So you need to make sure that you are being the best you that you can be. So he said that he listened to that presentation 500 times, and by that time I had it memorized. I knew it backward and forward. I could start from any part and take it from there. Okay, so this is when he came up with his own presentation and used it for himself and recorded it back in the days of audio cassette, right? And he said, because he listened to it over, he did it himself and listened to himself make this presentation 500 times. And he said this built his confidence. And that's important. The most important thing you can have is your confidence, because there are going to be times where you're going to mess up. But if you are secure in your story, you're secure in your understanding of the person that you're talking to, you're never going to go wrong. Okay, so that's a very important thing. So practice, practice, practice. And Debbie said that where we're preparing, you need to know so that when you do it, it's actually a fun thing to do. We don't want this to be a job. We want this to be something enjoyable and something that we want to be excited about sharing with other people so that they can say, oh, I want some of what they have. I want more of that in my life. Okay, so he became a regular presenter at local meetings and continued to move up to bigger and bigger venues, even being asked to speak at company conventions. And for him, the evolution of becoming a presenter went through several stages. And first, it was, of course, learning his story. And then second, learning the standard opportunity presentation. And of course, go to our longevityrc.com, the Longevity Resource Center, where you can find all these presentations and you can make them your own, right? There's even places where you can add in a script so that when you present it, so let's say you shared a screen on a Zoom, or some sort of another webinar platform, that you can do the presentation and then you can just go through and make it be your own and focus on the parts that are more important, because there's some slides that may not be pertinent to your particular passion, to whatever vertical you've chosen. And so you can use that for your own. The fact that we have this technology now is outrageous compared to what these guys went through back in the day, you know? And then you also want to learn different training presentations. We have so many. We've got so many different things to share. So he said that his big defining moment as a presenter happened when he kind of put his foot in his mouth. And he said, I can do a better presentation than that top dog over there. And he said it to the CEO of his company. And basically he said, okay, son, I'll tell you what. We have our convention coming up, and we're going to have 14,000 people there, and I'm going to give you guys both the same amount of time, and we'll have a contest, and we'll have some judges that can vote on who did a better job, and nobody's going to know about it at the convention, but it'll be like this private little competition. And he said he started to prepare like his life hung in the balance, and he chose a theme. He wrote his talk and rewrote it over and over, and did his research and practice and recorded himself doing the speech and everything he could possibly do. And so then when the big day came, he had never felt so nervous, but his preparation served him well because the response was overwhelming. He did such a phenomenal job. And of course he did win the prize or the contest. And that was something neat to look to. And if you would like to hear his presentation from that time, it's at networkmarketingpro.com/call to action. I'll type that in here for you. Okay. So if you go to that, you can listen to him. He said his voice sounds a little bit younger, but it is still him, right? And so to summarize the skill set, you must remember a few things. When you are prospecting, you are the messenger, not the message. Get yourself out of the way and use a third-party tool. Learn to tell your story in a way that will make your prospects curious to hear more. And when it comes to presenting in front of a group of people, preparation is key. When you're prepared, it's fun, just like Debbie said. So with all of that, let's open up the forum to questions or comments. And even if you'd like to go over your story, if you have a quick story that you'd like to share your presentation, like your elevator, your 30-second elevator conversation, share with us what you do for that. Anybody would like to volunteer to step up and do it? Colleen, are you around? I know that you have some events coming up, sweetheart. You've got some stuff happening, right? Let me unmute you. There you go.
Hey, yes, I do. I have 2 back-to-back on Saturday.
Yes. So talk about that. Talk about the 2 different types of venues that you have coming up. How are they the same and how are they different?
They're very different in the fact that one is an entertainment source where I'm going to be there and people are going to be doing Zumba. So while they come off the floor and looking exhausted, I'll have my rebound right there at the table. So I'll be able to explain to them how when they sweat, that they need to rebuild their nutrients. So that will be an easy way of explaining our products. I also am doing a craft fair earlier that day. And I'm going to be doing a sign that has a lot of hashtags in it, for longevity. But some of the questions are like, how would you like to change your story? How would you like to change your life? And they're going to have like little phrases in each. What I'm doing is I'm taking one of the picture frames I have that's like a poster size, but it has like little blocks. So I'm going to use those blocks to my advantage and have like little questions. So when people pass by my table and they see that and, read it like a menu, they're going to be like, wait, how can I change my story? I'm hoping that will kind of radiate something. And talking to them, and I'm not going to waste my time really talking to them then. Like if they're interested in a lot of stuff, I'm going to ask them if we can set up an appointment for the week ahead. So that way I'm not, like if I have 3 people at my table, I don't want to completely lose 2 when I can gain all 3.
Excellent. I love that. And what you can do at that point is, as we have talked about this kind of before, you can say, I want to give individual attention to each of you. So text me your name and your email address or something. And that way you'll have their number and it'll be quick and easy. You don't even have to have it written down. You can say, this is my number, have your number written down very largely and say, text me your name and number. I will get back to you after this event is over and we can schedule a day to get together. And so then you can really begin the coffee shop interview and get closer to them. So I think that would be easier for you, because even so, if you start to talk with them at all a little bit, but if you talk with them as a group and say, I'm really excited and I want to make sure that I want you all to feel special. I want to give you individual treatment. And I think people will resonate.
What I might do, just so I can get their text and I get their number and information, I'm going to probably put something at the table saying, text me your information. And then this way and how we met. And what you liked about my table, and you'll go into a drawing for a free thing of coffee.
Perfect.
Just to get them to text, something to flare them. So
I love that. And yeah, everybody likes free stuff, you know, so anytime you can pull something together to get a little nifty gifty for people, they're happy. Going back to your Zumba crowd, where people are going to be dancing around. How are you going to give them the tasting of the Rebound? Are you doing it in like little shot cups? Shot glasses. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Because I want to make sure that everybody realizes when you do something like this, and as you are sharing with the people that are there, I don't want them to think that every time they meet a person randomly that they have to give them an entire stick pack of Rebound, right? Yep. So we want to make this be cost effective, but let them taste it. And you know that they're going to love the taste of it. Rebound is one of our most popular and tasty products. And we know that it is really great as, you know, a functional beverage that's better than a Gatorade or any of that, because it's going to restore the nutrients. And so you don't have to get too scientific with it, but just say, hey, you just sweated out an awful lot and I want to help you put it back in. Keep it like you're talking to your grandmother. You know, you want to keep it the most simple that you can. And they'll be like, wow, really? And they'll notice it right away. They'll feel good. You know, their bodies are going to crave it and they'll be like, I need some more of that. Right. And then you can say, okay, great. Text me your information, and you can have a drawing. You could even have a drawing for a few stick packs or a coffee, however it's going to work the best for you. But I love that. And the other thing, Colleen, I know at one point you were talking about doing something to bring awareness for breast cancer, because October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I was thinking, are you going to do something with hashtag pink ribbon or something like that? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You are.
In fact, one of the signs, because I have the jewelry piece for the breast cancer awareness, and I have like some of the sorry, my dog's like crazy. Can you shut the door, please? She hears people, so she thinks people are here, so I apologize. I have like the little jewelry already from Alicia, boxing glove and Hope Heart, and one already like made up, so people can see that what they could get if they go on and order those to for our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I'll have the picture, you know, of the breast cancer awareness lockets.
Perfect. It sounds like it's going to be
I'm going to have my story trying to help my mom.
Yeah, 2 very successful events, and I love the confidence that you have in your voice. You know, you've got, you're ready for this, and I'm so excited to see how this all comes together. So good work. Thank you for sharing, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So who else? Who else would like to give a little share about their story or something coming up that they've got going on? Anybody? Daniel, are you trying to make a comment?
Yes, Cashmere, the 10-year-old, she's doing the for Tails Only. She would like to make a comment.
Sweetheart, how are you? You know what? You know, your generation is doing such wonderful things. Colleen, who just spoke before, has a daughter, Emily, and she was at convention, and she is extremely passionate about pets. So tell me about your passion and tell me what it is that you want to do to help people to become more aware about taking better care of their pets.
Well, first, I like pets. Second, I want all pets to be healthy.
Wonderful. What's your favorite kind of a pet?
Dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats. And do you have any of either yourself?
Yeah.
You do?
I have a cat.
You have a cat. What kind of a cat?
Tabby.
A tabby? And what is your tabby cat's name?
Lily.
Lily. Very nice. And you are how old, sweetheart?
10.
10. Terrific. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So are you going to be going out and talking to people about how they can keep their pets more healthy? What are you guys going to do to get the message out?
I'm doing a vendor's event.
Awesome. When is that going to be?
On the 28th.
Wonderful. And where do you live, sweetheart? What city and state?
39 Shorewood, Milwaukee.
You're in Milwaukee. Okay, terrific. Is it getting cold there for you? Or is it still warm? Yeah. I'm down in Florida. We're still in summer. It is just still hot. Well, thank you for sharing.
And I signed up my vet.
You did what? You signed up your vet? You did?
And my bank manager.
Congratulations. You are a little rock star. I can't wait to get to meet you in person and to be able to see all the good things that you're going to do. So thank you so much for sharing, sweetheart.
I was in North Carolina last year.
You were?
Convention.
You were in Charlotte?
Mhm. Yes.
Really? Well, did you ever get to meet Emily in Charlotte?
No.
You
but
didn't.
I did get to meet Tom Chanel.
You did. Yeah,
And
I was
Wallace.
I was there too, so you and I were there together. I wish that I had had a chance to get to meet you. If you can see on the screen, there is Miss Colleen and her daughter Emily right there. She's waving to you. And Emily is 12, correct? Right? And so I'm going to unmute Emily, and she can share with you because she's got a lot of passion for sharing with her pet ideas and helping animals, that especially animals in shelters. So I'm going to let Emily talk, and maybe you can get some pointers because she's done some vendor events. So hang on and listen to Miss Emily, okay?
Mhm.
All right, honey.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going around to different animal shelters, like the one in Houston, Texas.
Yeah,
we helped out Houston, Texas. We were trying to raise some money so we could send it right down to them, so they could. We ended up helping out Florida. My grandma volunteered there, so I thought it'd be nice to help out those animals who probably got lost and got drifted away from their homes during the flooding of Irma. And also we've been helping out the local animal shelter here with donating, and I used my birthday party instead of getting my own gifts. I used it for getting gifts for the animals.
You also explained for Tails Only.
Yeah, I also explained the for Tails Only. My friends helped me get the animals, and they were really excited to help. They were like, oh, we get to help animals? And so I was really happy that they helped out. I'm really excited that we get to help more animal shelters, hopefully later on, by sharing the for Tails Only. And I also did this because of my own pets.
She's going to be working the for Tails Only part at the craft fair this weekend, so that's going to be her little.
Yeah, it's going to be my little part.
And so that's really great, Emily. Thank you for that, because you know what, you guys are incredible because you have this beautiful passion and gift to be able to talk with others. You know, you're just such beautiful girls, both of you, and people enjoy spending time with you. And so it's a good way for you to be able to, use that to your benefit to help others. And I don't know if you knew this, but when we were in Dallas for convention, Emily was doing the most incredible job of selling the Mia Alicia jewelry. She was walking around and talking to people that were there at the event, and she had her little clipboard and she knew all the price. She said, oh yeah, this set is $35. Would you like to place an order? And so it's interesting because she was asking those questions that most adults get freaked out to ask, because a lot of people forget to even ask them, do you want to buy? And so she was doing something so naturally that, it was incredible. It was a beautiful thing to witness. And so I look forward to seeing how your event goes this weekend. And then that way, the next event, when you come back on the 28th, so maybe next week, Emily, you can share with us a little bit about what you do, and then you can give some pointers, right?
Okay.
You think you can do that?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, guys. Anything else? Any other questions or comments that we'd like to share with anybody? Anyone else? I saw Pat came in. Pat came out a little bit late. I see Nancy said she's a bit drowsy, traveled to Florida from North Carolina through the night to surprise her boys at college. So you have to tell me, Nancy, where in Florida are you, and what college were you attending or were you visiting?
Oh, did you open me up?
You're open up.
I'm in Hobe Sound. Yeah, I'm in Hobe Sound, Florida, South Florida, 25 miles north of West Palm Beach.
Very nice. Okay, so what college is it?
Hobe Sound Bible College.
Oh, very nice. Okay, very nice. So you went right past me when I was in St. Augustine for the last week.
I guess so.
You drove right by. Didn't even stop. Come say hello. I don't know what the deal is, Nancy, but you know. But anyway.
I thought about different people. I've got one good friend that lives in Jacksonville. I'll probably catch her on the way home because it was during the middle of the night. So I was like,
you do. Well, we need to connect on that because that's my home base. I'm right outside of Jacksonville in Fleming Island. So that's an interesting thing. So if that friend is in Longevity, then if you need some help with connecting here, I'm happy to do that.
She's not yet.
Well, maybe we need to have a little conversation. How about that?
I know I've tried, but I'm just kind of keep dripping when I stop by.
Yeah. Well, just say, you know what? I have a friendly face that's right in the Jacksonville area that would love to say hello and have a cup of tea with you. How about that?
I'll have to see how it goes. Number one, whether I get to stop by this time. I usually try to, either on the way down or the way up, I usually try to connect with her for a few hours or overnight, just to spend time with them.
Perfect.
She and I went to high school and college together, and then she met her husband at college, so we were all in college together too. So
perfect. Okay, good.
So anyway.
All right, my dear. Well, get some rest and enjoy your boys, and safe traveling. If you need me, just let me know.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Anybody else? Pat, you kind of came in late to the game. How are you doing? I've got you unmuted.
I am doing wonderful. Yeah, I have, am I up? Can you hear me?
I can. Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, yeah, we went by a restaurant this evening and just stopped by there just a minute ago, just got home from there. And I saw a lady who worked there who's one of my CSIs that I'd completely forgotten about. And so it's really nice now. I'm reminded I got to go by there tomorrow night because we had a great conversation when I first met her. And I said, we'll be back in again sometime. This is the first time I've been in when she was there. And she didn't recognize me, which was good, but I recognized her. And I found she works again tomorrow evening. So I'm going to just happen to drop by there tomorrow evening and continue the conversation because she was really interested in anyway, I saw her there at the restaurant at the first day she was there. And so she was just starting a new job to add income to her family. And she's been a missionary and she's been on the missions field and all of this. And she would be just a great candidate for us in Longevity. So I just need to remind myself to print out all of my CSIs and go back through them and make sure I don't forget somebody.
I was just going to say that documentation is so key, and you can do it old school, you can do it, high tech new. However you do it, just make sure you do it. So even if it means you have a paper file, you can use those expandable 31-day folders and kind of put people out in a week of when you're going to follow up. Or you can, keep the information in your phone. we're patiently waiting for Adrienne Chenault to do the contact mapping app, because I know that that's going to be terrific. There's also an app, a free app that you can use called Circle Back that Adrienne had told me about, and I've been using that to help on the way until the contact mapping app is complete. But yes, Pat, you brought up an excellent point. You sound like you're very good at remembering details about people anyway, and that can be a good and a bad thing, because if you trust your memory like I do, I'm good that way too. Like with patients over the years, I can remember things about them, but really keeping good notes and using them as a follow-up, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I forgot I said that I was going to come back, so that's an important thing to do. So thank you.
Am I still up?
You are.
Okay. I was talking to Ivan this afternoon, and what I do is I type my CSIs in Word and then copy and paste them into Facebook. And so I have all of my CSIs in Word. So I'm going to go through, and I told Ivan today, I said, I'm going through tomorrow. I'm going to print every one of them out and go through them one by one and just pull up the ones that are good ones that I haven't contacted, and to make sure I haven't, like this lady, just I've forgotten somebody. So yeah, I'm going to go old school. It's called, print them out and read them.
Print them out and read them and use them. Don't leave them, because, I know that I have stacks and piles and things. Make sure that you keep them in a well-organized place so that you actually do create that ticker file follow-up, and you'll be rewarded in volumes later on. Well, thank you, Pat. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I saw Lorene with a beautiful peanut come up on a picture there. Do you want to add any words of wisdom, Lorene, before we close out?
Hey, Pamela, I'm babysitting, which is why she touched the button. So sorry about that. You are doing an amazing job, and that book is the best book. It was one of the first books that I read when I got in this company. And the mapping is something that I did for years and years, and just to help me, I thought, with my memory. So knowing that we're going that direction, it just makes me feel even better that I don't have to learn something new. It's something I've been doing for years. I just didn't know it was called mapping, but you're doing an amazing job. And sometimes I listen in, but I do have to babysit on Thursday nights these days with a wild 7-month-old. So thank you so much, Pamela.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I can't wait to see you in GoPro.
I know. I'm excited. I can't wait.
It's going to be so much fun.
Vacation. Yes.
Vacation. Yeah. A working vacation. I really, really want to be a sponge. I'm going to learn as much as I can and bring it back to share and help the team, All right,
it's
kiddos.
Always fun.
It is. I'm so excited. So, all right, guys. Well, it's almost the top of the hour. Are there any other questions? Nancy, do you have a question?
Well, I did unmute myself. I don't know, previously anyways, my oldest son is fantastic with like the CSIs, even though he doesn't know that's what they are. He just loves to engage and go places, and he was into this branding himself from the time he was a young teenager, and building his own brand and becoming an engager and marketing himself, and marketing networking, I guess, would be networking with people around him. So anyway, so he's I love to watch him in action because he's just amazing. But he had made contact with the owner of a restaurant here in town. Anyway, so she has become a customer, and I do energy foot spas as well anyways. And so we had made this arrangement, and we'd gone over there and done energy foot spas with her family, and she loves the root beer belly. And anyway, so she is a preferred customer as well. But I walked in today to get some food, and it was Rev 90 approved.
Yay.
And they have this awesome hamburger salad. It's a great big bowl of salad, and then he makes a fresh hamburger on top. Anyways, so I mean, it come right out, and she's like, I've got somebody I need you to meet. So anyway, so she's texted me, so I've got to call this lady here. I don't know, one of her waitresses or somebody. And so anyway, so before I leave town, I will probably be having another CSI. So
perfect. Very good.
Adding
to the list and helping them does this mean that the first lady is now wanting to be a business builder, or is this a referral for you? How is that working
out? I'm not sure how that's going to work out, because I was just listening to Dave Rutz on Paul and Cheryl's Star School. He was just on there, and they own a restaurant. She and her husband, own the restaurant together. And I'm like, somehow I've got to figure out a way to interest them, or at least expose them to the opportunity of all the services part that could help them that could benefit them at their restaurant. Their payment source, their phone source, their, whatever. I mean, so that's kind of a thing too. So, I mean, I don't know where it'll lead. I mean, that's an option and an opportunity too. So if, to expose them to that information as well, and then, to see if they're interested in changing from preferred customer to
a distributor.
So
perfect.
I'm sorry, my mind is just kind of, I'm really fading.
No worries. No worries.
But it made me think.
I love that. Well, I think you've got some great leads on that, because you're listening to what it is that they need. And that's the most important part, is hearing them, using 2 ears, 2 eyes, and just 1 mouth to know what it is that they're looking for, and providing them with an answer to their question. So good work.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I mean, we've not talked about this at all, I don't think, on here.
Okay.
But do you use the health evaluation at all?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay. Is there a place, because one of my downline, and we're trying, and Paul and Cheryl are having the 90-day thing, to the end of the year, whatever. Is there a place where there are some scripts? Well, not scripts, but follow-up emails for people, so when I get notified that they have done a health evaluation, I don't have to reinvent the wheel to make contact with them. Are there some emails that are already been put together that we can access somewhere to, the next step to, what is the next best way to, the next step to take them, without going too far at a time, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
That is an excellent question, and I don't know. Here, I'm going to mute you for a second while I answer. That is an excellent question. I don't know if Paul and Cheryl have come up with something that would be a follow-up. On the health evaluation system.com, there might be some things that are there. I don't remember. I usually just follow up with people and say, this is what Doc recommends for you based upon the answers you completed. How would you like to set up your order? Do you want to, I often will go through to the social selling, and I'll say, okay, I can work this out where for every $75 you spend, you'll get one item at 50% off. And they'll go, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I use the social selling a lot. I mean, that's my main source of.
Yeah, and so you can say to them, I see what you need, and you know which items, because you received the email about whatever it is that they had input as their answers, and you can kind of get a feel for it. And so then again, you're the messenger, not the message, because it's Doc's recommendations, not yours. And so you can kind of look at it and play around with it and say, hey, I can get this really great deal for you based upon the things that you need. I can help save you this and blah, 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 and just kind of go through and say, okay, these are the things you need. And there's sometimes you'll see something come up that you can kind of go, gee, I know, they may not need that right now, or it might be something that is already being covered by something else. Kind of take a look at it that way. So I always will say, when you fill out your health evaluation form, only you and I will receive a copy, so that they know that their privacy is being protected. Only you and I receive a copy. Once I receive it, I will review it, and I'll give you a call back to tell you what's the best way to get the product that is recommended to you. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you always follow up with a phone call then?
Always. Always. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost you.
Okay, because this was somebody that filled, this was, well, it says that I'm open. This was somebody that had seen my link. I know the person, but it wasn't some. I think
I've lost you.
Okay, I just heard that. Did you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I only heard a part of what you said. I don't know why it's not coming through all the way. But you said, okay, so you know the person.
I know the person, but it wasn't, I had posted my link and they filled it out and I got the notification, but it did happen to be somebody that I knew.
Okay.
And, but I did not originally speak to this person face to face. So would it be better to just make the phone call then or an email first?
No, absolutely make the phone call.
Okay.
Personal contact is always the best. But what you can do is you can review the information, of course, before you make the phone call and create a plan of action. So you can look at it and say, okay, based upon the items that are here, because remember that you should know that there are certain products that you can't get discounts on in social selling, and those are are typically our main product lines, like the BTT, the Osteo, any of the Pro line, stuff like that. So you want to kind of group it together to get them the best bang for their buck, is how I say it to them. And they'll be like, oh, wow, thank you. And then what happens is I really get them, it's kind of like an upsell because you're getting them to do more than they might have done under other circumstances. And we want to make sure they're going to get the best results from using the product. And the other thing, too, is to think about, because a doctor, Dr. Wallach, is recommending this. Most doctors, when you start any new regimen of whatever they're telling you to do, if it's a drug protocol or something, they're going to say, in order for us to see the best results, you need to be taking this for 90 days. Are you committed to taking this for 90 days? Because that's when you're going to see the biggest changes happen. And they'll be like, well, yeah, of course, if it's going to help me based on the things that I told you that I need help with, yeah, I will. So that's a way to talk with somebody, to upsell to a CEO pack if possible, or whether you're going to go through social selling and get them those discounts, or if they're just going to be a preferred customer because they haven't even talked about wanting to be a distributor yet. All those kinds of things kind of fall into place based upon your previous understanding and knowledge. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, kiddos, it's after 10, and I thank you all for joining me here for our GoPro with Eric Worre. And next week, we're going to cover Chapter 7, Skill Number 4, following up with your prospects. So this is exactly what we are kind of getting into right now, putting our little toe in the water and talking about it. And so this is important, like Pat was talking about, keeping that follow-up and going through, getting back to those people, because remember, it does take between 5 and 12 contacts for somebody to make a decision. So with that, we're going to finish up. God bless everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in 65 and a Wake Up, and either next Tuesday on the Tom Chenault Zoom or next Thursday for our GoPro. Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless everybody.
I just had a quick story on the product, how it worked for him. Isaiah had a quick story about the CEO.
Who was that? Someone had a question? Nope. We're done.
Isaiah got a quick testimony real quick about what it did for him. He's a 16-year-old high school football player.
Oh, sure. We'd love to hear that. Go ahead.
About a month ago, I bashed my hand. Basically.
I can't hear you, sweetheart. Can you talk a little closer? Okay.
About a month ago, like in September, since I play a lot of football, I bash my hand continuously.
Oh.
And I realized it was really swollen.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom ended up giving me the OsteoFX and the cream to help with the joints and the pain.
Perfect. And so you find that now where you were bashing your hand before and it was in a lot of pain, that you aren't in pain anymore?
Like it healed over, but now I have to go to I have to get it checked out by the doctor because it's actually fractured.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Like,
well, yeah. And it's what part of your hand?
It's like along the index finger.
Show me. Let me see. I can't see it. Pull it up to the camera. Oh, there we go. So it's your pointer finger?
Yeah, so you see that's the messed up hand.
Uh-huh. And here's the straight hand. Hold them up together next to each other like that. There you go. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you're going to go get it x-rayed and find out if there's anything more that needs to be done to it?
I looked at they looked at the x-rays and they didn't see anything on the x-rays.
Okay.
So and then they looked at it in person. So the doctor had looked at it through x-ray and said he had not seen anything. But my mom had my knuckle is shifted over to the left, and you can see it right away, but you can't see it but they can't see it on an x-ray.
Okay. So do they think that it is a soft tissue issue that's causing the joint to shift, or is it actually is a fracture?
They said it looks like a fracture because at first he thought it was like because I didn't tell him when it was done. At first he thought it was like under the bone, but I told him that it was over a span of a month, so it actually healed over.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're doing all the right thing with the OsteoFX, and the glucogel is another thing that Doc Wallach would recommend, right, for the bone and joint? Okay. Good job. Well, good. Well, thank you for sharing that testimony. I appreciate it. And please let us know how you do.
Yep.
All right, sweetheart. Take care. Thanks so much, honey.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. Have a blessed night, everybody. Bye-bye.